And they're off. Smooth and even break. Giovinazzo, original, comes to challenge him immediately. So those two will pass the stands together as one. For a Laugh is just behind them, two back third. Flavius settles nicely in fourth. Indian Peak is far back in the opening furlong, where Giovinazzo asserts himself and opens up a two-length lead. Original second, a half length to For a Laugh at the rail in third. And then it's Flavius in fourth, taken in hand, 3 lengths off the pacemaker. And Indian Peak gets much closer now. 5 covers the field. Onto the backstretch, Giovinazzo carving out the fractions, 2-length lead. Original second. At the rail, For a Laugh is in third, and Flavius biding his time in fourth. Indian Peak fifth. Still 5 lengths off the lead with a half mile to travel, and Giovinazzo to catch. It's Giovinazzo who's been there throughout. Opens up 3 now. Original second, For a Laugh, Flavius, Indian Peak. There's been no change in the running order. It's been Giovinazzo since the gate opened. Down at the rail, For a Laugh is trying to get closer in second. Original hard-ridden to keep pace. Flavius, Indian Peak. A quarter of a mile to go. Giovinazzo still the one to catch. Indian Peak having some trouble on the outside. Now going down toward the rail for better sailing. Flavius is underway. For a Laugh in the clear. Final furlong. Giovinazzo, Indian Peak trying to get through a narrow opening. For a Laugh. Flavius still has 3 lengths to make up as For a Laugh surges forward. For a Laugh, Giovinazzo. For a Laugh. And Frankie Dettori to win it by a length. Giovinazzo second. Flavius in a photo with Indian Peak for the showdown. Next, race 2, 23 minutes to post. It is the start of the early pick 4 with no changes. Next. House of Targaryen to the outside. And they're off. Very even start. Wink, Wish, and Park is out very alertly. So is 3.0. Those two are stride for stride through the opening furlong. Down at the rail, Our Girls Worth It is a close-up third. They're followed by Graze It in the Sun, who is guided off the rail nicely in fourth. Then House of Targaryen on the outside of Miss Commander. 4 lengths covers the field into the far turn. It's Wink, Wish, and Park by just ahead. 3.0 in between rivals second, and Grazing in the Sun makes a bid on the outside as there's room for Our Girls Worth It. 4 of them line up as they come to the quarter pole. Our Girls Worth It moves through on the inside of Wink, Wish, and Park. A wide Grazing in the Sun. 3.0 drops back. Then Miss Commander there at the top of the stretch. Our Girls Worth It and Grazing in the Sun. These are the two who go on. Grazing in the Sun, Our Girls Worth It. Grazing in the Sun just in front past the 16th pole and starting to pull away, proving best. It's going to be Grazing in the Sun and Armando Ayuso to win it by 2.5. Our Girls Worth It was given every chance, but second best. Then Miss Commander third, and Wink, Wish, and Park. $30 carats will be the last one. They're in the gate. And they're off. No, 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 never is going straight to the front. Princess Midnight has some early speed and up alongside now. No Way It's Today in between horses third. 30 carats is in fourth. Then Bolt's brought a close-up fifth, followed by Machiavellique, and Heron Bay is at the back of the field. Princess Midnight on the outside, and No, 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 Never at the rail. They're 1-2 rounding the clubhouse turn. 30 carats, inches up, 3 deep. Now moves up to take the second spot. And No Way It's Today is fourth with 3 to make up. Then it's Bolt's Broad, settled nicely under Kyle Frey, fifth with 4 to make up at this stage. Machiavellique is second to last, and Heron Bay outside of her. Onto the backstretch, and it's Princess Midnight, leading it by almost 2. 30 carats in second. No, 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 Never rides the rail in third. Then Heron Bay, who's made an early bid, On the outside, up to take the third position, midway on the far turn. No Way It's Today is next. At the rail, Bolts Broad has shuffled back to last, passed by Machiavellique. Midway on the turn, Princess Midnight by a head to 30 carats. Heron Bay is just outside of them in third. Machiavellique is looking for racing room, will be coming on the outside. And No, Never is also looking for a spot. Bolts Broad Green down at the rail. They're in the final furlong, and 30 carats has rested a narrow advantage. No, Never running a big race, moving into second. And on the inside, Princess Midnight, 30 carats. No, Never. 30 carats prevails under Juan Hernandez by a length and a half. No, Never was second. Then it was Bolts Broad in between horses, third. Photo Machiavellique and Princess Midnight. Touch and our Swervin' Gervin. They're in the gate. And they're off. And Professor's Pride had a very rough start. Quick start for Vidalera with the white blinkers taking the lead. Llorona is flashing some early speed. Blessed Touch, our Swervin' Gervin on the outside. Then Christie's Tiger, and after that rough start, Professor's Pride is about 10 lengths off the lead. It's Vidalera out of the chute leading the way over heavily favored Llorona, who's down at the rail in second. Then Blessed Touch ahead back third, followed by our Swervin' Gervin and Christie's Tiger, just 3 lengths off the lead. Another 4 to Professor's Pride. Half mile to run. Long shot Vidalera is the leader by a half length. Mike Smith asks Llorona to come after her down at the rail, and she does so. And those two within a neck of one another now, with 2 lengths back to Blessed Touch third. Christie's Tiger is clearly in fourth. Our Swervin' Gervin dropping back, and Professor's Pride. Llorona, Vidalera on even terms. Blessed Touch running a good race on the outside as the field turns for home. Llorona's going to have to do better than that. They straighten up, and Blessed Touch and Vidalera. Christie's Tiger, Llorona is down on the rail. They're inside the 8th pole, and Blessed Touch emerges with the lead. At the rail, Vidalera fighting bravely, and Christie's Tiger comes alive. Here's Christie's Tiger and Juan Hernandez to run them all down. Second to Blessed Touch, Vidalera third, Llorona was fourth. They're in the gate. And they're off. Rulal broke very well. Ice Queen on the outside. Ready, Jet, Go is up close. Fast Giselle, Yellow Sleeves now moving up to vie for the lead. And Gypsy Lynn is coming through along the rail. So it's Gypsy Lynn, Rulal, and Fast Giselle right across the course. They're followed by Inner Beauty, our Valentina on the rail, and Ice Queen 3 wide, 4 off the pace. Little Liliana is next. Ready, Jet, Go now at the back of the field with Strange Addiction. Into the far turn, and it's Gypsy Lynn who has a narrow edge. Rulal comes right back in second. Fast Giselle a length off the leader now in third. Our Valentina fourth. Inner Beauty asks for a bit more fifth. Strange Addiction has passed a couple of rivals. On the inside of Ready, Jet, Go, Ice Queen is next. The distant trailer, Little Liliana. They are at the top of the stretch, and it's Rulal. On the outside, Fast Giselle. These two on even terms. Our Valentina looking for a spot, trying to sneak through a narrow opening inside of Rulal. Rulal, our Valentina dives down toward the rail, but Rulal has something left. And it's Rulal. That's 3 for Juan Hernandez, winning by a length and a half. Fast Giselle was second. Our Valentina in front of Strange Addiction, and Ready, Jet, Go was finishing well late. Whoa, buddy. We're all in line. And they're off. Quick start for Tom Bombadil on the far outside. Nauvoo has some early speed. Hander's Dream comes through along the inside to take second, and Mr. Mason well spotted fourth, about 3.5 off the leader. Then it's Afternoon Heat. High Press, who did not have a good beginning, is just inside of him. 3 clear of Heartful of Stars and Whoa Buddy. They're covered by about 10 or 12 lengths as they pass the half-mile pole. And Tom Bombadil is the pacemaker, leading 3/4 to Hander's Dream in second. Another 3 back to Nauvoo in third. Then comes High Press along the inside. Mr. Mason is fifth at this stage. Heartful of Stars is trying to make an impact, moving through in the white colors down at the rail. Then Afternoon Heat, and the trailer remains Whoa Buddy. They turn for home, and Hander's Dream has taken over from Tom Bombadil in second. 2.5 more back to Mr. Mason. Down at the rail, High Press is running on very willingly. And in the center of the racetrack, Heartful of Stars. Heartful of Stars is coming swiftly. Afternoon Heat weaving through traffic, but it's Heartful of Stars. And Heartful of Stars wins it going away by 2.5. Nauvoo was second. Then Afternoon Heat, Hander's Dream, and a photo for fifth involving High Press. Justique in the gate. And they're off in the Lady of Shamrock. Cliquish, Ruby Nell, and Anacaro right across the course. And now Ruby Nell and Anacaro go on with it. Cliquish will sit back 2 off them in third, and Princess Bettina is just outside of her. A gap of 4 or 5 back to Justique, and Irish Patsy is at the back of the field. And it's Ruby Nell out where she likes it, loose on the front end. 3-length advantage. Anacaro is in second, followed by Cliquish, who races on the inside of Princess Bettina, who's 7 lengths off the lead. A gap of about 8 or 9 back to the 2 trailers, Justique and Irish Patsy. A quick opening quarter for Ruby Nell, speeding right along to the half-mile pole with a 3.5 length lead. Anacaro is racing in the second spot, followed by Princess Bettina, still right with Cliquish. Princess Bettina now moves up red cap to take second and coming after Ruby Nell. A gap of 5 back to Justique and Irish Patsy. Ruby Nell and Edwin Maldonado, they've been in charge throughout. 2-length lead coming to the quarter pole with Princess Bettina in second. Anacaro is down at the rail. Cliquish losing ground. Justique on the move now. She swings into action as they come to the furlong pole, and Ruby Nell with a 5-length lead. Justique finishing strongly into second, but Ruby Nell is not slowing down, and it's Ruby Nell. Another tour de force. She is quite a filly. Ruby Nell outclasses them in the Lady of Shamrock. Justique ran well, but was second best. Then Irish Patsy a rallying third, Anacaro fourth. Again. All set. And they're off. Aram, McLaren Vale, Arrow the Great. 3 across the track, joined by Ghost of Midnight. So it's 4 of them vying for the lead. An Oviac class racing off the rail and trailing into the first turn, and McLaren Vale proves to be the quickest and leads by about a half a length. They're trying to slow things down. Arms in a tad tight down at the rail, and Arrow the Great in the clear, now second and under a stronghold too. Then it's Ghost of Midnight racing in fourth, 3 lengths off the lead, and 2 more to Oviac class. The pace is moderate as they make their way onto the backstretch. McLaren Vale by about a neck. Arrow the Great races in second, and Aram is just off their heels at the rail in third. Ghost of Midnight is comfortable in fourth, 2.5 off the lead, and a length and a half clear of Oviatt Class. It's McLaren Vale and J.G. Torrealba setting the terms on the front end, moving to the 3/8 pole, 3/4 of a length to Arrow the Great, who comes right back at him in second. Aram has been racing with Ghost of Midnight together as one. Ghost of Midnight puts his blue blinkers into third, coming to the 5/16, and Oviatt Class has trailed throughout. They're coming toward the quarter pole. Arrow the Great gets the lead away from McLaren Vale. Ghost of Midnight is outside of them. Aram is looking for a spot. And then Oviatt Class, they're a furlong from the finish. Arrow the Great, McLaren Vale fights back bravely. And Ghost of Midnight, three of them across the track. Ghost of Midnight, Arrow the Great. These two go on. Arrow the Great, Ghost of Midnight. Ghost of Midnight on the outside, surging to victory. Arrow the Great was second. McLaren Vale and Oviatt Class. They're in the gate. And they're off. Quick start for Twilight Moon. Takes three, is up close, and now takes the lead. Kiss for Lulu, flashing foot. And Baby Waylon ensures an honest early tempo. So it's Baby Waylon getting off the lead. Kiss for Lulu is wrangled back in second. Then it's another length back to Takes three in the orange colors, racing in third. Down at the rail, Twilight Moon just cornering a bit wide. And outside of Twilight Moon comes Drive for Show in the purple, about 5 lengths off the lead. 2 more lengths to Clements Ride, followed by Run Bryce Run. It's a gap of 3 to the 2 trailers, Jimmy's Wild Boy. And at the back of the field is Motivating Force. Down the backstretch, and it's Baby Waylon setting the terms. 3/4 of a length. Kiss for Lulu is in second. 2 more lengths, Takes three, and Twilight Moon is down on the rail. Moving up to take third now, and about 2.5 off the pacemaker. Then Drive for Show, outside Clements Ride. Motivating Force has passed a couple of horses in the white colors on the extreme outside. The 2 trailers, Run Bryce Run and Jimmy's Wild Boy. Baby Waylon has been there throughout. Maintains a neck lead over Kiss for Lulu coming to the quarter pole. Just behind them, Takes three. Twilight Moon is down at the rail, and Motivating Force outside of that pair, top of the stretch. And Kiss for Lulu on the outside up to take a narrow lead. Baby Waylon not done, fights right back, and Baby Waylon has another gear. Baby Waylon, Kiss for Lulu, head and head to the wire. Baby Waylon finding another gear in the final stages to prevail. Kiss for Lulu just missed, and Clements Ride came like a rocket late. Behind them, a photo between Twilight Moon and Takes three. 10.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody. An absolutely picture-perfect day here at Santa Anita. Jeff Siegel and myself, and we were just discussing before we came on how clear it is out there, how gorgeous those mountains look.
It's postcard day. Always January 1st, you get all those Rose Parade and Rose Bowl pictures, and there's not a cloud in the sky, and you can see the mountains. The mountains today look like they're about a quarter of a mile away. That's how bright it is and how clear it is. And it's about 60 degrees, maybe a little warmer. So it's a great day to come out. If you're not a Michigan or an Alabama fan, why not? Forget the Rose Bowl. Come out here. Great card, 9 races, and unusually good gambling card, I think, as far as I'm concerned.
This morning I was at the barn and the stealth bomber flew over, which traditionally indicates the start of the Rose Parade, and it was absolutely magnificent. So opening day of the year, I should say, and happy birthday to all those thoroughbreds that just turned a year older. And we start in race number 1 because we have a 6-furlong turf race for straight 3-year-olds now. They turned 3 today. These are fillies, and you very much liked a horse in here, the number 8, Girl of My Dreams. No doubt about your opinion.
Well, I mean, she should win. I mean, this is a filly that has had 4 starts. Her numbers have risen with every start. She's a first-time Lasix user. You can't give Lasix to 2-year-olds, but she's 3 now. They're all 3, as you mentioned now. So she gets Lasix, and you'll see that everybody's a first-time Lasix user in this field. But Girl of My Dreams comes off a rather significant race. It was at 5/8 at Del Mar. She got beat ahead. Let's take a look at this race. And while you might look at it and say, well, she blew a lead in the mid-stretch, you have to look and see who wore her down. And that was the significant part of it. Medora was the one who came and got her. But Girl of My Dreams now stretches out to 6 furlongs. She's drawn outside. And, she should be quicker than these. And if she can continue that improving pattern, I don't think the extra furlong is going to do her in. I think she'll be able to go slower early in the first part, kind of cruise to the front, and then maybe keep on going.
I have a feeling that Bob Baffert's filly will just naturally take a little bit more action than 5-1 suggests on the morning line, which I think offers a little bit more value elsewhere. Ashley draws the rail, which I'm not keen about that. But look at the way she's drawn in her only 2 starts. I mean, she's never drawn anything but the rail. And I thought she improved considerably last time out. So 3rd time on the inside for the Into Mischief filly.
It'll be interesting to notice about how Ashley runs, and I have her picked 2nd because behind her in that race, or I'm sorry, just in front of her was a filly named Alluring, and she runs later in the day, the 9th race. So you might want to go to school a little bit and see how Ashley runs, and then that will give you maybe a little bit better feel for Alluring, a filly that I like very much in the last race. But we're going to see Girl of My Dreams bust out there and go. She's cleared in all 3 of her starts, or last 3 of her starts. And now it's just a matter of whether Fresu can get her to go out rather comfortably. In other words, rather than bust out there and open up like she did in her last race, maybe she can kind of ease into it, and that'll give her an edge.
Well, we are fast and firm today. And speaking of the turf course for race number 1, the rail out at 20 feet. You like a speed horse in there, which usually helps when the rail is out like that. Over the past few days that we've had of racing here at Santa Anita since opening day, Jeff, have you noticed any particular biases that we should pay attention to moving forward through today's card?
This grass course has always been fair. I think. I mean, it's pace dependent. If you go too fast, you pay for it. If you go too slow, you can steal the race. That's just the way it is. On the other hand, the main track it's very difficult to make up ground. I mean, you don't have to be in front, but if you're not 1, 2, 3, you've got some work to do. And that's sprinting or routing. And it's always been this way. It's the complete opposite of what Del Mar is. Del Mar, it's tough on inside speed, really tough. The rally widers do extremely well. So if you're handicapping off Del Mar form and you're taking a closer that ran well at Del Mar, don't expect the same thing at Santa Anita. Conversely, if you see a horse fade at Del Mar, especially if he drew the inside, which is deeper, and he gets to Santa Anita, he's got a much better chance of carrying his speed a much farther distance. So that's the bias that I'm looking at between Del Mar and Santa Anita. But as far as grass is concerned, I don't think there is much of a bias. You just have to project the pace and see if it's going to favor one style or another.
And we're back at that traditional pick six as well. You know, with, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I don't know if you feel that the fans out there are really embracing the fact that we've gone back to the traditional pick six.
Well, I like it. I would rather have a $2 though, because gamblers like me who play a bigger ticket, we're looking for knockout horses. And knockout horses are easier to find if it's a $2 denomination, because not everybody can just throw them in. You know, I mean, it's just $1, throw them in. But they have to think twice about $2. So when I was a professional pick six player in the 80s, and it was $2, we were able to find a lot of these so-called knockout horses. Granted, we had to spend money. And I understand what the track's thinking, that, you know, we want to give the little player a chance. Okay, that's fine, which is why I've now gravitated to the $3 turf pick 3, because again, you have a chance to maybe use some horses that other people won't throw in because of the denomination. Whereas if it was a 50 cent or $1, they just, it's hard to knock anybody out because people just throw numbers up there.
Right.
It doesn't add up that much. Your ticket all of a sudden is, well, that's pretty good. I didn't have to spend that too much. But you have to spend $3. It's a little bit different. And that's why I prefer $2. But hey, I'll bite the bullet and go with 1.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and we'll go through the scratches and changes with Frank Miramati momentarily. I put in a $12 ticket for the All Turf Pick 3 today. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Happy New Year. Good morning, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf is at 20 feet. Here are the changes. Scratches or jock changes in race 1, the beginning of the early pick 5. There are no changes in the second race. Early pick 4 starts there. In the third, just a blinker note, the fourth starts the $1 pick 6, scratch number 6, ain't no joke. Race 4, scratch number 6. In the fifth race, start of the $3 all-turf pick 3. There are no changes. The late pick 5 also begins with race 5. In the sixth event, scratch number 9, envisioned. Race 6, take out the 9. There are no changes in the 7th. The 8th is the Grade 3 Las Flores Stakes. Also the beginning of the Golden Hour, pick 4, no changes. And in the 9th race, Golden Hour double begins. Just the one blinker note. Enjoy New Year's Day. It's Dollar Day. $1 beers, $1 sodas, $2 hot dogs. Great family fun activities in the infield as well. At this time, we'll go back to the studio. Millie Ball is with Jeff Siegel.
Welcome back to Santa Anita. You have Frank Miramati going through the scratches and changes there, and just going back to that first race, Jeff, and your thoughts on Girl of My Dreams, who moved up considerably on the turf. I want to go back and revisit that last race that you were talking about for her, and how you think that race is going to reflect how she runs today.
Well, she's in front here, and normally you'd think you're home free going 5/8 at Del Mar. She looks like she's home free, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. But
He hasn't even gone to the whip yet.
She runs the last 8th and 12th flat, but unfortunately for her, there was a first-time starter named Maduro in there. And look at the acceleration Maduro produces, and nails Girl of My Dreams right on the wire. But Girl of My Dreams is still far in front of everybody else. Take that filly out of the race, the winner, and all of a sudden she's a 5-length maiden winner. Now, that's not normal maiden that she had to run in. Maduro came out of that race and won a stakes here a few days ago. Went from that maiden race, stretched out to a mile and won a stake. She's a high-class turf filly. So that's what it took for Girl of My Dreams to not win her last race. I don't think there's another Maduro in this field. Now, you might say, okay, but she has to go another furlong. But she didn't look like she was getting tired there. She just that other filly just got it, you know. So
exactly.
So I don't think that's going to bother her. So anyway, I like her on top. But you made a good case for Ashley, the Into Mischief filly, and then also there's a few others in here that could be improved. Blinkers off, Lasix for Elegant. That's a good angle for Bob Baffert with Whan Hernandez, who hits like almost 30% with Baffert. I mean, you're going to win 1 out of 3, no matter who it is. If you don't have to handicap. I mean, Baffert, Hernandez, you're going to get.
And what about the day Hernandez had yesterday?
Yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah,
he's an amazing jockey, and it's not. And I mentioned this a couple of days ago. It's not so much that he's like a great finisher. He is. Don't get me wrong. But his knack for being in the right spot during the early stages, mid-race, top of the stretch is uncanny. He's always in the right spot. Now, sometimes he has the right horse to get him there. But boy, I'm telling you, if you want a horse to sit third, saving ground on the inside, going a mile and 1/8 on grass, he'll be there.
So the first race we discussed on the turf course. The second race will be on the main track. Again, we are fast and firm this afternoon at Santa Anita. Allowance optional claimers. These are 3-year-old fillies running. And I actually have the same opinion as you with the 2 outside horses in here in the field of 5.
Clubhouse Bride was all the rage. Eric Kruljack ran her at Los Alamitos in mid-December. You might think, well, why didn't he wait for the big meeting, a little bit bigger purse, But he figured she's ready to run, and let's get this out of the way. And he did, and she won by 7. She earned a strong 72 buyer number, which is very good. It's what stakes fillies, Calbred stakes fillies will earn. So she did that, got that out of the way, won for fun. Looked good, opened up, gave kind of a second move. When you break up, you kind of take back a little bit, and then you re-break. That's what she did. Now she's coming back against theoretically tougher horses, obviously, but numbers-wise, she's a standout. She doesn't have to run back to the same race. Even if she regresses a little bit, she looks like she should win. And from a pace scenario, Millie, it looks like she's probably going to be in front. The filly on the outside of her, prancing through Paris, is coming out of stakes races. That's good. And she's a first-time Lasix, as they all are. Yeah. So, except for the one who's not adding for whatever reason. But she's outside, so she'll get a good stalking trip and then have dead aim. And if she can improve enough, or if the other filly comes back to her, then maybe that's the one you want to save with.
I would agree. I think that's where the strength of this race comes from, the 2 outside 3-year-old fillies in there. Moving on to race number 3. And this time we've got fillies that are 4-year-olds, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up in this third race on the turf course at a mile for starter optional claiming company. And Mahina was one of the fillies that you really thought had a good shot in here.
Yeah, there's a couple of angles for her. Number one, you always like to see a horse come out of a live race, a fast race. And Mahina finished 4th last time out, chasing Rulal home. That is a really, really, really good filly. She backed up from that race to win yesterday sprinting and took a lot of heat and still won. So finishing 4th behind that filly is certainly no disgrace at all. And she got a number that was very similar to her previous race. But the reason why I like Mahina is because I thought visually when she ran on this course, that last race was at Del Mar. Let's take a look at this race. And you can see her on the outside, Mahina. You can talk about accelerating. She's on the far outside. And you talk about quickening, a turn of foot, Millie. She explodes here in the final stages. This is a high-priced maiden claimer. And she's going to roll on by and win. And coming against moderate fractions, she's going to run 23 and small change to get up and win going away. And here's the beauty about this race is that she is eligible to this starter 50 because in that maiden $62,500 race, they actually entered her for 50. Now, if they entered her for the 62.5, she would not be eligible for this race.
Right.
So it was a clever situation if you're going to run her, do that. And to me, even if she runs back to her last race, which was only a 4th place finish, but against tougher, that was a tough race.
Yeah.
Against this group on her, what I think is their favorite course, I think Mahina and Umberto Rispoli will sit back, get her cover, and make the last run.
With Love is in there for Phil D'Amato, taking a big drop in class, in for 50. I think she belongs in here. It's funny that she's never actually been favored. You look at her prices that she went off at, and she just was never touched on the board. But I think she'll be a much shorter price today.
Yeah, she's 2-1 on the morning line and deserves to be. She's entered in this race not because she's eligible, but because they're running her for 50, so they can get her in that way. Whereas a horse like Mahina is protected. And with Love, even though she's kind of a one-pace grinder, doesn't have a great massive kick like Mahina does, on speed figure, she's right there with these.
Yeah.
So this is a race that absolutely with Love should be highly competitive in.
Ricky Gonzalez gets the call again there for the Phil D'Amato barn. Moving on to race number 4. This is an important race because it's the first leg of the pick 6 this afternoon. And I think a lot of people will be singling in this first leg, Jeff.
Maybe the same people who tried singling him at 30 cents on the dollar last time. You figure, well, the place you lost it is a place you can get it back.
Yeah.
Well, he's 6-5, and he'll probably not be much more than even money. Now, you look at his race last time, and it looks like he had no excuse. And he didn't. But but he was, he did finish 6 clear of everybody else. So he actually did run a winning race, and his buyer number went from 70 to 78. So he actually improved. He just got beat by a better horse. He doesn't really have to improve, I don't think, today. Just runs the same race as last time.
Yeah.
And from that inside draw, he's going to save ground, maybe be even being on the lead. He's clearly better than anybody else in the field on pure form. I don't know anything about leading. We don't have any workouts on the video for him, but he is by Uncle Mo from a good barn. Michael McCarthy's maidens often run better than they work, so he might be okay for Mike Smith. So he'd be the one kind of fly in the ointment type of thing that you'd have to worry about Imagination. But among the others, it would appear that Imagination should be able to handle this task.
And came in with a really nice strong work, I thought, on December 24th. And you can go to xbtv.com and type in Imagination in the search bar, and you can find that work and watch it back. In race number 5, we've got 4-year-olds and up in this race. 1 mile on the turf course. They're in for $25,000, the claiming price. And you and I both are very much on the same horse in here, the number 5, Margot's Boy.
Well, I recommend him as a single, pretty much because if he doesn't win, then I think I'd have to use 4 or 5.
Yes.
And I don't want to spend money on horses I don't really like. So number 5 is a single for me, Margot's Boy. First off, the claim from Mark Glatt. Now that's a good thing, isn't it? Anything that Mark Glatt sends out is a good thing. He ran in a starter optional Thoroughbred race. He got beat 2 lengths in that race. The buyer number was solid. He had earned a much better buyer number, though, at Santa Anita over this course and distance, 2 races back. And you'll see this. Even though grass should be grass, I find a lot of horses prefer Santa Anita's turf course over Del Mar's. I don't know why, but it's true. And you see this and that's kind of like the angle I'm using for the filly in the 3rd race. Her best race was on this course, okay? She ran all right at Del Mar, but she's back where she belongs. And I think you can say the same thing about Margot's Boy, who was 3rd with an 88 buyer number, a career top figure. That's better than par for this level. The pace situation looks comfortable. Again, first off, the claim from Mark Glatt, 25% with that angle. Again, I think he's going to make the lead here. And by the way, he's had 3 wins in his career out of 11 starts at Santa Anita. Guess what his record is anywhere else on any other surface?
Over.
Yeah. It's 0 for 14. But 3 for 11 at Santa Anita.
That's
so
crazy.
I've always leaned on the horse for course theory, and I'm leaning on it here.
And sometimes it can be as simple as the shipping for the horse. You know,
If the
horse during the Thanksgiving meet at Del Mar just shipped in for that particular thing, didn't handle the shipping as well, then didn't perform as well on the turf course, but doesn't have to ship when staying home here at Santa Anita. So that's the 5th race. I'm going to throw in Mike Operator just because Eric Garcia has won 3 times in the last 3 races on Mike Operator. He's back aboard. He's one of Bob Baffert's top work riders. And I just think a horse that's won 14 races, twice as many as anyone else in the field, deserves to be thrown on my ticket. So I used
I'll
it.
tell you what, 2-0-0-0 on the San Diego turf course. Having said that,
Yeah.
I think you talked me into it just for that angle alone. Maybe we'll make Mike operate our backup. Okay.
Race number 6. Now we've got 3-year-old fillies in a 5.5 furlong sprint. Maiden claimers in for 32,000 on the main track. And High Flying Gracie, I thought was worth looking at in here. But you, like She's My Niece, the number 2, and the 4. So you're going the bookends of my number 3.
Right.
You're like Lightning and Rain.
This race, I ended up with 2 horses, but this might be a spread race for me, honestly. I don't have a lot of confidence in She's My Niece. I mean, she's second last time out for Maiden 40 at Del Mar, going a mile. She's turning back to a sprint, which I think is okay. She's adding Lasix. They all are. Maldonado stays aboard. I think that's good. I mean, on pure numbers, even though the route numbers, she's better than
that's
these.
where I thought she might be vulnerable, Jeff.
Yeah.
I thought that she's a route filly. She's sprinting today, and that might give you an opportunity to find value elsewhere.
It's possible, but now she has sprinted a number of times, but they were all against straight maidens, and this is a modest maiden 32. So I think maybe that if you combine the fact that she's actually facing a lot easier than she had been facing, and her numbers are good, or at least her last one was. I put her on top. Is she a single? No, she's not a single. I also threw in Lightning and Rain, beaten ahead for maiden 30 at Los Sal back in September. She returns, brief work tab. She's no better than any of the other 5 or 6 you want to throw in, but I had to put somebody second. And the filly that you like, High Flying Gracie, I should say. Again, another first-time Lasix user. Maybe she'll improve. She's got a race at this track over a mile back in the fall that puts her in the hunt. Nothing would surprise me in this race. So, I mean, use as many as you can afford to.
Yeah, right. So you got to find a single somewhere in that pick 6 and go deep in race number 6. Race number 7, 4-year-olds and up. Allowance optional claimers. If you are in for a tag in here, it would be 80,000. And I thought Mass Rapido was lone speed. I know you like Mass Rapido, but also the 7 Gregorian Chant.
Yeah, you have to use, at least I have to use Mass Rapido. I think he's inside speed here, and he's pretty consistent. Numbers are fast, but I ended up with Gregorian Chant, and you would think that a horse who's run this many times, you would probably lean towards the form rather than the workout. But he turned in an eye-opening workout the other day. He's the gray in this 3-horse team. This is a dirt workout for a grass specialist. Boy, I love this workout, Millie. I mean, I thought he reached back and he's breezing. He's into the bridle. He looks sharp as a tack.
He's happy, isn't he? I mean, he really is moving very smoothly over the main track here. He feels the presence of his stablemate to the outside there. And just, you look at first, I mean, it's Whan Hernandez, excuse me. He's just sitting there really chilly. The horse is doing all the talking in this particular work. I love that.
And he's going to gallop out. He's going to open up on his work and gallop out very well. And it's one thing, if this was like a 102 and change, whatever. That was a minute flat.
Yeah.
That's moving.
On the dirt for a strictly turf horse.
Right. And he hasn't been out since October. Maybe he needed a little bit of a breather.
Yes.
He's run well fresh in the past. He's good enough. He's got 5 wins over the San Diego turf course. He's back with Whan Hernandez. What do you think this horse did the last time Whan rode him? He won.
Yeah.
Okay, but that goes back a ways. So he's reunited with his win rider, and at 5-2 from an outside draw, which means Whan can kind of call the shots out there. He can bust out and go. He can stalk. He can move when he wants to move. I think Gregorian Chant, to me, is going to be really hard to beat. Mas Rapido has got form that would make him dangerous if he reproduced it. I think those are probably the 2 that I would lean on. I mean, Don't Swear Dave, maybe you want to throw him in because he won over this course and distance 2 races back. Did it nicely.
Yeah.
So I could maybe find somewhere on my ticket for Don't Swear Dave. But to me, it's Gregorian Chant and Mas Rapido are the main 2.
Yeah. Mass Rapido, I just don't see anyone that can go with him. So Gregorian Chant's going to have to really finish up well in that race. In race number 8, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. 6 furlongs is the distance in the feature, the Las Flores Stakes. It's a grade 3. And another race that I thought was, you could go 2-3 ways in here. You particularly like Hot Peppers and Sweet Azteca. Tell me why.
Well, I I don't necessarily have all that much confidence in either one of them, but I'm hoping at least one of them runs back. Now you have Hot Peppers. We have not seen her since September of 2022. She was a beaten favorite in the Prioris that day, and they turned her out, stopped on her, and sent her to California. Now Phil D'Amato's got her, but in reading the DRF, he's had her and had to stop and start on her a couple of times. So you have one good flat, 1 minute flat gate work. And other than that, a relatively light work tab for a filly who was a graded stakes winner in New York. So you know she's good enough. Just a question of whether she's ready. Then you have Sweet Azteca, had one run on Derby week at Churchill Downs, won that race for fun, earned a good number. Have not seen her since early May, though. Looks like the work tab is pretty solid, but we have not, I have not seen any workouts on the video, so I can't be completely sure. But she's 6-5 in the morning line. Hot Peppers is 5-2. And I don't really know which one is ready, or maybe they both are.
Yeah.
So it's a tough race for me. I just don't have a feel for it.
I'm a little concerned about the work tab for Sweet Azteca. That to me, it looks like Michael McCarthy's just kind of rushed her to get her ready, because he gives her a couple of 3 furlong works, right? Then he gives her 1 4 furlong work, and then immediately jumps to 5 furlongs. And I know that the December 14th, that was a very strong work. I got to see that. And in fact, Flavien Prat was aboard for that particular work. But I get the sense that she's just being a little bit rushed to try and make this race.
Okay, well, you know, that was my concern with
She
Hot
might
Peppers.
be good enough to overcome it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, that's the same feeling I have for both fillies,
Yeah.
Sweet Azteca and Hot Peppers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use them both. I don't have any confidence in this race. It's only a 5-horse field. There's no price to be found anyway. So this is a race that I would treat with care. You know, I would be very, very careful about it.
Yeah. The other thing to back up my opinion there is that she skipped the La Brea, which is straight 3-year-olds, you know, which is just a week earlier, and worked instead. Yeah. And then, so I don't know.
That may be the indication that he didn't think she was ready for 7/8, you know.
Right. So. But she's very, very nice filly, judging from her first start fast race that she ran. The nightcap, race number 9, and that last leg of the pick 6, maiden special weights. We'll go 6 furlongs on the turf course. These are the fillies, actually 3 fillies in here. And it's a split of the first race. So you got the first time Lasix users. Who did you like in?
I really like Alluring. This is a quality filly in Richard Mandela's barn. She is a filly that they kind of gave her a race. She only was 8-1. You got no action first time out. And the idea was to let her, you know, not quick, not a quick type, just let her get her feet underneath her, let her finish up a little bit. Let's tighten her up a little bit. We'll point for Santa Anita. That was the intent. But the race was a little bit different than that, because Pratt, who had every intention of doing that, found out that he might have a chance to win. She's right in the middle here. She's behind the first pack. She's in front of the 3 behind her, waiting for room. And Flavien hasn't asked her for anything into the stretch. And he's never even going to hit her. He's going to get her behind horses. We'll teach her something here, Millie. And right now she's 7th. But watch her accelerate between horses in the final furlong. She's going to find room between horses.
Oh, yeah, look.
She is going to fly home.
Yeah.
She's going to miraculously wind up second.
Yeah.
And then she's going to gallop out way in front.
Yeah.
And that's 5/8 of a mile, you know. And there she is galloping out way in front. So, I mean, that worked out well.
Yeah.
Because now you bring her back against the same group maidens.
Yes.
The only difference is you get an extra furlong to work with. You don't have to run her against winners, and you don't have to stretch her out yet. By Ghost Sapper out of a mare by Arch, she's not supposed to go 5/8 of a mile.
Right.
So with that race under her belt, a nice easy couple of breezes since then, but she does have a bullet 3/8 back in December 4th, so she was fresh that day, and I don't think Richard let her run the next 2 works at all. I didn't have to. I think Alluring, not only do I think she's going to win this race, but I think she's going to be a stakes filly. I really do. But maybe not until she stretches out to a mile. Good, strong filly, a lot of substance to her. I really like this homebred filly. Alluring, I'm going to sink or swim with her.
I had to check the trainer's name and make sure it wasn't Charlie Whittingham that you were talking about there with Alluring.
Well, the difference is, here's the difference. When Charlie gave a horse a race with Shoemaker, they never got close. But with Richard, they can't help themselves. They have to run well whether they want to or not.
But that was very impressive from Alluring. I'm actually going to go with the 4 in here. She's scintillating. Although having seen that video now, I would throw Alluring onto my ticket for the this is all part of the all-turf pick 3 that starts in race 5, 7, and 9. So I would have added an extra horse, alluring, on my ticket had I known. But she's scintillating. The number 4. The word is that this filly's, really training well over there. And we've seen, although Phil D'Amato's stats first time in this country have dropped off a lot.
Yeah.
He is very capable about, training a horse and knowing what level to start it at.
You know what it is? I think because Phil in the last several years has found his niche as a turf trainer. I think he's learned that you don't really have to win first time out with a European. You can kind of get the experienced run into them and then build them up a little bit, and then maybe train them a little harder after that, and then kick on with them. So I don't think the stats represent any kind of lack of ability on Phil's part to be able to win. I don't think he's that interested anymore. I think he's looking in the long term. Like this filly, she's going 3/4 of a mile, and by a son of Scat Daddy, he might think that she's probably eventually going to be better over distance and run. He might even do what Richard did with alluring. In other words, give her a run today and then run her a mile next time out.
And this is what we're describing here is educating a horse, how you campaign a horse. You don't just throw everything in and hope that they're fit enough and they're ready enough to win first time out, because now you're facing more experienced horses next time, horses that have deeper foundations underneath them. We saw that, for example, yesterday. I mean, that nice filly of Richard Mandella's, who won so impressively first time out, and then was, stepping up and facing some salty horses in there.
Older horses.
Older horses. I mean, we had a stakes winner in there.
Right.
And, it's a lot to ask to first, off of one race and one victory, to step up against that.
Yeah, that was, you see, sometimes you see a race like that, and something happens to him physically. But trainers nowadays, they are very, very careful about doing too much with their young stock. Most trainers would like to ease on into it, So you see a horse that maybe runs below expectations, but maybe the intent is not to really knock them about too much. But that's part of handicapping. You got to be able to understand trainer intent, and you have to understand what the motivation is, and don't get upset if a horse that you think is really good doesn't necessarily run as well first time out. So, I mean, heck, American Pharoah got beat first time out.
Exactly.
But it can happen.
It turned out all right for them. Well, that is going through the card for today's selections from Mr. Siegel. Thank you very much, Jeff Siegel. And we will hear from Frank Miramati. He'll bring us the scratches and changes one more time. But enjoy the New Year's Day card here for this particular Monday of racing.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Happy New Year. Good morning, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf firm, rail on the turf at 20 feet. Here are the changes. No updates since last time, just a blinker note in race 1. No changes in race 2. Blinker note in race 3. In the 4th, scratch number 6, Ain't No Joke. The dollar pick 6 starts with race 4. Turf pick 3 and late pick 5 begin with the 5th. No changes. In the 6th, scratch number 9, Envisioned. No changes in the 7th. The 8th is the grade 3 Las Flores with no changes. Golden Hour pick 4 begins with race 8. Golden Hour double starts with the 9th. Family fun activities in the infield. It's Dollar Day with dollar beers, dollar sodas, and $2 hot dogs. Have fun at the Great Race Place. First post in 26 minutes at 12 noon.